Well, we're live. Hello, everyone.
Hello, all Tourpreneur members.
How are we all? Some big announcements happened yesterday.
I think you've got the screen up.
Oh,
The image.
pardon me. There we go. There we go.
I can see people now. I thought I was just
Yeah.
screen first.
I forgot to click
actually,
up.
I like it the other way first.
Had it all planned out, all working well, and then there we go.
Yeah, we're on
That's
Facebook
like
right now.
I planned my life all my life, and it doesn't work like I planned. It goes a different direction.
So yeah, there was a bit of news happened yesterday.
Yeah, some good news, Pete. The main news has been people wondering where that van is and where you are right now.
That van is in Scotland at the moment, but it'll be in Europe soon, and it's going to be in a lot of places over the next couple of years.
Where have you been traveling?
Well, the van hasn't been traveling, but I've been in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Romania, Bulgaria, about to head to Portugal and then Berlin.
Fantastic. We are headed all to Berlin in a week's time. Really excited about the Arrival Activate conference over there, the long-awaited, 3 years in the making conference over there in Berlin. You guys looking forward to that?
Yep. Just to go back to Berlin, because obviously the last time we were in Berlin, certain thing happened called the pandemic right at the very start. So those of us who turned up had to deal with a very weird situation. So it's just good to go back to what was the start of a strange situation, really. So it'll be quite good to go back. Plus, we're going to meet lots of people to meet up again and see people for the first time in a few years.
I love that city so much. It's one of my favorite places on earth. First time I went there was 20 years ago. So what, about 40 years after you, Pete?
Yeah, it was about that. It was certainly difficult to get to Berlin in those days.
A lot of tunnels.
Yeah, we do have somebody there at the moment, didn't we? That person called Shane, who awarded us this pleasure of hosting this community. So he's over there at the moment trying to speak sprechende Deutsch.
Yeah. All I keep getting are these cryptic text messages in German from him. So either he got into the wrong spy hands and somebody has his phone, or he's learning a new language.
Yeah, I think he can speak German quite good anyway. He's just a perfectionist. He wants to speak a bit. Yeah.
Well,
I think his ultimate dream, is probably to read a spy book in German. That's probably what he wants to do. So
yeah.
Something nerdy like that. Well, listen, welcome to our first Facebook live stream, our first time showing up, sadly, without Shane. I think the three of us here wish there was a fourth square here for Shane, but we wish him more than all the best in terms of his new role, his new job. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think it's nice, though, that he's landed a real job. He's all grown up now.
I know. I wish he was part of this. It's always something that the four of us have always spoke about, is doing something along these sort of lines. Maybe not quite to the extent of everything we dreamed of, and within those 2 days we all got together. But there were certainly some of it was things that we discussed, and yeah, it's a shame Shane's not along the journey. But no, all the best to him.
So should we kick off and tell the members what we're up to?
Yeah, I think we've had a few minutes to wait for people to find us, and we really created this video venue for the moment just to begin a conversation with the community. If you didn't get the email yesterday, then shame on you. You should be subscribed to Tourpreneur. You should go to tourpreneur.com immediately and type in your email address. Every week, you're going to be getting an email from us. But yesterday, we sent out an email outlining essentially our best hopes for what we can bring as community leaders to Tourpreneur. But more importantly, we want to get a conversation going with you all. We are not going to sit there and just be the faces and the voices endlessly at Tourpreneur. Really, what we want to do is try to be people that can listen, build something in honor of Shane's legacy, but something new, but with the community. And so we really, really want to hear from you. And on that level, we're just going to go through and share sort of what our plans are. If you like something, if you don't like something, I'm a New Yorker. These are difficult Scots. And so we can take it. We want to hear your feedback and really get a sense of what you're interested in and go from there. So with that, I think we're just going to run through our thoughts for the future of Tourpreneur.
I think it's worth mentioning at this point that everything we build is going to be built in public. So there's nothing happening in the background that's some big secret or some big blah blah. This is a community. It's built for the community. It will only work if the community engages at a high level. It will not work at a low level engagement. It will only work at a high level engagement. Therefore, us as the builders have to build in public, and we have to be in conversation with you on a daily basis, weekly basis, not just the regular people who show up in the group every week, but people who show up once a week, once a month. We have to take everybody's considerations in and build in public. The reason we build in public is, one, we've got more chance of getting it correct, and two, it's all about trust. We have to trust the community to make sure we're putting our time and effort into building things that are correct, and you have to trust us that we're actually going to deliver on and what we say. And if I think back many decades, I can remember somebody telling me when I was quite young, trust arrives on foot, but it leaves on a horse. In today's world, I could alter that. Trust still arrives on foot, but today it leaves on a rocket. So trust is going to be essential to everything we do, and we know it takes time to build trust to be able to deliver on that.
We're not going to get everything right either. So we hope that that at least Shane has created a community that not only is trusting, but understands that we're all human beings, and we're all going to be trying to create this together. On that front too, I think it's really important to mention that, again, we're stewards of the community, but we can't be the only leaders. There's too many niches, too many backgrounds, too many different kinds of operators. And so we really want to create its diverse leadership, podcast hosts, creators within the community, advice givers, all of that coming from all of your different backgrounds and all of your different areas that you work in. We have ATV rentals in the Utah desert, and we have ghost tours in Australia, and we have multi-day 1,000-mile journeys across big sections of the earth. And so being an operator is really about what is helpful for your business and relevant for you as a bike tour operator in North Carolina. And that can be very different than someone leading a cultural heritage tour of castles in the north of England. And so we want this to be an inclusive and diverse community of everybody's points of view and relevant, helpful, actionable learning for everybody. That's really our goal. And we can't do it alone, the three of us.
And those community learning verticals, correct me if I'm wrong, Mitch, that's going to be our conclaves, where verticals will be hosted by the community with the community members in there. Learning from each other, is that correct?
Yeah, so we've got a whole new lingo to reveal that may have been created in Scotland under the influence of something. But why don't we start with what is not going to change at Tourpreneur? There is a new logo, a brand new website, if you haven't checked it out yet, that we've put together in the last couple of weeks. But beyond that, what is not going to change are the core aspects of delivering value in the Facebook community based on questions and advice that people need. It's been more active than ever the last couple of weeks. We're really excited to see everybody on there. The newsletter is going to continue to come out every week, filled with actionable, interesting learning, industry news, even maybe videos of Pete in his van delivering us his thoughts on the future of the travel industry. And the podcast is going to continue to come out even more frequently. It's just going to look a little different. It's not going to have the smooth, dulcet tones of Shane Whaley, and it's not going to be the same. We want to actually get your input and your thoughts for new formats, new ways, new hosts. Nikki Padilla is going to be continuing her series, and even more voices and more perspectives. And so all of that is going to be the same, except you're going to get even more of it.
I think on the newsletter, we'll probably start to transition it towards referencing more conversations, referencing more learning opportunities, rather than reporting industry news, which many other sites report the same news, and are professional at it. That's their job in many cases. So rather than us regurgitating things that are happening elsewhere in the industry and that's already out there, I think if we start to make the newsletter much more focused on learning opportunities for our operators, obviously introduce them to opportunities, technology, etc., where we think it's of value for them. But I think we can make the newsletter a trigger point for more learning. For more, not everybody's engaged with the Facebook all the time, but if they read the newsletter once a week, and they can suddenly jump from there into a conversation on Facebook because it's a good learning opportunity, I think that's probably the direction that the newsletter will start to track in.
Definitely, and I think having, as you guys have said, having the operators at the heart of everything that we're doing. Well, again, this is all to help operators gain better knowledge of their business, make them more profitable, and everything is going to be based around that. So every newsletter, every course, everything, every guest that we have on the podcast, everything's going to be based around it with some sort of actionable point that you can take away. So, so all that side of it, we're going to be doing constantly. It's not going to change in terms of the Tourpreneur podcast and stuff like that. It's just how we do it, the stuff that we do on there, and the content may change a little bit. Everything's going to have you guys at the very core of everything we do. So.
All right, now let's dive into what is going to change. Basically, we have ideas for just expanding the learning in the community. That's as simple as it is. The first thing probably to bring up is what we're calling shindigs. If you don't know what a shindig is, can one of you tell us what that strange Scottish word is? Is it Scottish?
Shindig is just, I was brought up with shindig, so you would head if you were going out. In other words, it's a party, it's a get-together, it's social focused, it's not business focused, it's really social focused, fun. So a shindig, normally there's music involved, some dancing involved, and probably we'll have shindigs where maybe we do a little bit of learning in there before the party starts, for instance. But they're really to get members together for a short period of time, several hours, maybe an afternoon. If we can't make the afternoon, certainly the evening, just the evening in global cities around the world where we can get to know each other better and have a real good time. And I think we're going to host the first one next month in New York.
Yeah, we're basically just looking at where the largest communities of tourpreneurs are in the Facebook group. We can see that really easily. And the largest one is my backyard, New York City. And we hosted one of these last year with Shane, and it was a smashing success. It was really fun. And I made friends and contacts from there that I'm still in contact with today. And it's just a different experience. And so live, real, in-person, fun, and a little bit of learning. And we're going to do the New York one first in the middle of June. And where's the next one, Chris?
July, middle of July, we're looking to do one in London, which is the second biggest audience that we have. So yeah, New York and London over the next couple of months. We'll do Berlin, get Arrival out of the way, and then go straight into Shindig straight after that.
And I think it's worth saying for those that come along to a Shindig, and why wouldn't you? You'd have to be off your head not to. For those that do come, we're going to be inviting people along to that who are not just Tourpreneur members. We'll be reaching out through our extensive contacts to other people in travel and tourism, interesting people in jobs that we feel are aligned with our community and may be able to help our members in the community. So as well as meeting everyone in the community, you'll also be meeting some people within the travel ecosystem that we will be bringing along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And just to go on to, sorry, I was going to say, just focusing on a couple of things that we've just mentioned there. We've had a couple of comments in. So this one's, although it says Facebook user, I can actually see it's from John Copeland. So thanks for adding that in. Basically saying we'd love to hear more from actually people, the boots on the ground, the people who deliver the tours, and that's certainly something we're wanting to do rather than the sort of management, as you mentioned. So we definitely want to get more of the tour guides and the operators from smaller businesses giving their own advice and comments and everything else from that as well. So.
Well, if in the conclaves, it's not us. It is you, the members, in your vertical. So in John's case, it'll be history and culture. In the history and culture vertical, it's not us. It's you. You'll be in that conclave, and you're the ones hosting and making each other actionable and holding each other to account on it.
Yeah.
Well,
just another one.
Yep.
Sorry,
We'll explain what we mean by conclave in a second, but yeah, Chris, you want to bring up this?
Yeah. The other one, unfortunately, I can't read the name because it's in Chinese or Japanese, so apologies. But this guy likes, or person, girl, likes week in review emails that come out, just giving you a little bit of brief info on what his latest podcast is about, posting discussions, just like you were mentioning there, Pete. Just something a bit of a rundown in terms of things that people may have missed on the group or anywhere else. So, so that's what we're mentioning, is we're going to be doing a bit of that as well, coming out on the emails. So.
Yeah, I really like the way Shane started doing that, bringing up some of those really active Facebook threads and reading some of them, just so we get reminded to go back and look at that, because there's so much pure gold that's just flowing through there, and we can't all see it all the time, and so it's nice to have those little reminders. Shane's emails were always coming on Fridays. If we like that, then we like that. Then we'll do Fridays, give you some learning to read on the weekends, and also a weekend review. Both in the Facebook group and what we've been up to, announcing events and things. I do want to bring up conclave. So we've come up with names for things, and partially it's just because, John mentioned management speak. None of us like that. None of us like the same old boring words or ideas or concepts. I think the three of us are pretty aligned with just trying new things and coming up with new names and making them what's right for our community. And conclaves, you could think of it as kind of a mastermind, but there's a lot of big learning and big conversations that happen in the Facebook group, but there's another type of learning, or peer-to-peer learning, that happens when you get 8 bike tour operators together, or when you get, as Brian Kane mentioned to me the other day, a mastermind focused on marketing automation. How do I get my reservation software to speak to my email marketing, to speak to my SMS marketing, to speak to all of that? And how can I create that into a really seamless, beautiful guest experience? Well, that's not something that you can troubleshoot and work out in the Facebook group. But if you've got 5 people or whatever it is that are focused on that issue, that can empower and hold each other accountable and share your wins. So we imagine a universe in which there are these Tourpreneur masterminds or conclaves where these types of meetings can take place. So if you do run cultural heritage tours and want to talk about, vehicles, or just talk about your content, talk about your tour content and the design of your tours, whether it's a business niche or a specific focus, we think those small groups could really move your business forward. Some of you might be really advanced operators that have 30 guides in 8 cities. Well, let's pair you with maybe not direct competition, but other operators on that level, so that everybody can be moving to the next levels depending on where you're at. That's the idea behind those.
Yeah, quite excited about them, actually. I think they'll be quite good.
Me too.
Probably because of the huge amount of content it's scheduled to be produced and is being produced. And I know Chris has been doing a massive job of migrating lots of content. There's a place on the website.
Still ongoing.
There's a place on the website called the Vault. This vault is going to become the default place where a lot of content is stored. May not be where it is broadcast initially, but that's where it's going to end up. So there is going to be a database basically for all of this stuff that's being produced, where people can access, because time and time again, we see it, and everybody's commented to me on the group, the same questions get asked time and time again, which there's nothing wrong with that, because people drift in the group, we get new members and all the rest of it. So these questions are going to get asked, but that tells us they need answered in detail. Therefore, when we answer them in detail, we create some content around answering them in detail. And then we can all, not just us, but all of the members in the community can start referring to the previous content, the previous answers to that, which will be stored in the vault.
One single place, searchable. You can find what you need.
Definitely. But we're still doing a lot of work to the website. As Mitch says, we've basically did a lot in 2 weeks. We've still got a lot more to come, so there's a lot more content getting migrated across, and then once we get it all categorized and more searchable and things like that, so there's going to be lots more improvements coming in the coming weeks.
Yeah. So. Chris, bring up that comment by Alex. He loves the fact that you can take operators who are doing similar types of tours but located in different countries, and they won't be competitors. Absolutely, that's the idea. Is you are the one operator from this region or city or whatever, but you're not 5 walking tour companies from London. You might be the one there and you can speak to somebody elsewhere, and your businesses are a similar shape, but they're not going to be in direct competition. I think that's the power. And I think for me, the masterminds that I've been a part of, you can be vulnerable and you can be honest and you can be open in a slightly different way than with 3,000 people, you know, about some of your struggles and all of that. These categories and the tags. So what Pete was talking about in terms of the vault, that's going to be on the website. And what we're really going to do is clean up and categorize and organize the content and things that we're either creating or we're finding into that kind of those actionable documents. And then we're going to take them and categorize them on the website. Personally, I don't think a lot of people really use the kinds of organizational features on Facebook groups. And so we just want something that is ultra clear and easy to find that actionable advice. And so that's where the website's going to sort of continue to evolve into something quite complex and powerful, including the approved directory. So I think that was a brilliant idea. The idea that fellow tourpreneurs can recommend an SEO specialist or a trainer or a coach or whatever it is. And that because it is Tourpreneur recommended, we can safely put it up there. And it's not just somebody creating a listing and trying to sell you snake oil. And we've removed it because it's going to return in a much more robust and powerful fashion to serve the community better.
Yeah, we all know Facebook's not the greatest for search and categorizing things and stuff like that. So it's something I wish they would do better on. But yeah, it makes more sense to have this all on the website, make it so much more easier for people to find information. So.
Yeah. Next up, sprints. What are sprints?
Well, again, sprints, these are actionable courses, for want of a better word, but they're going to be quick. They're going to be in depth, but they're going to be quick. We know people don't have the time to spend hours and hours on courses, so they're going to be modularized. So you can jump into the sprint, jump out of the sprint. Both myself and Mitch has done endless amount of these on other sectors, mainly outside of tourism, and they work. So we're bringing them into here, whereas we create a course on, well, I could just say the first one we did was called Hack the OTAs. Yeah, you have that right. It's called Hack the OTAs. Now, that's not just an hour of me bambling on. That's actionable actions that you can jump into or on out. So if you look at the menu initially, you go, I'm not listening to an hour of this lunatic rabbiting on. But what he says there at Plat 5, that's only 4 minutes long, I want to listen to that. Therefore, you can jump in and jump out. And we'll create all courses in that means, because we really do know, and I know from an operator, having been on the learning journey for decades, it's often I don't need all the content on a course. I just need some of it. So we're going to design all of these sprints, which are in reality courses, in a way that you can grab the stuff that you need in a much better way than sitting through endless hours of courses.
Yeah, super short, very practical.
Yeah.
Chris, you're going to do one on essentially multi-day tour marketing, but focused on sort of the community building tips and hacks that you've created. I'm going to do one focused on tours, guest experience hacks, the psychology of tour design. All of these are going to be just short, and it won't be just the three of us. God, we're sick of our voices already. Don't worry, but we're going to bring in quality creators with something to say for you. So absolutely, I'm going to do that. Something that I'm extremely looking forward to is the book club.
Yeah, for sure. And I know a few people have made some comments on that, thinking that it's a great idea. And between all of us, you can see behind Mitch, and usually you can see behind Pete when he's not in his camper van, the amount of books that we all have. And I've got a pile over there as well. It's like we read so many business books and marketing books, and whatever we feel comes to, it's going to help us in our journey. And being able to share some of that and recommend some and find out what other people think, what did they learn from it, all that side of things, I think it's going to be a nice little addition to Tourpreneur.
There's another thing with the book club that I think is really important. If people recommend, we get 5, 6, 10, 20 people reading a book and then go back and discuss it afterwards. If it is really good and the engagement in the group and a lot of people are interested, just let us know, and then we'll reach out to the author and get the author to come in and do a presentation, do a talk on the book club. And authors are normally pretty good and willing to do that. So just don't pick J.K. Rowling or somebody like that, obviously. But yeah, I think if we can get some of the authors of the books that we really enjoy and learn from to come in, I think that'd be great.
Some of the best Facebook group threads that I've seen have actually just been people recommending the books that they love, and I've gone down so many wonderful rabbit holes. And I love what the brain does, not with a video, but with a book. You can really start to think about your business and reflect as you go on that reading journey. And so we want to basically do a book a month and just make it really, really practical. We're going to be doing live streams every week. So some might be in the Facebook group, some might be through the website or through Tourpreneur Plus. But every week, we want to bring in people and have conversations where you can interact just like us here, but with a variety of people. There are so many people out there in our industry that can affect how we think about it. People that work in the short-term rental world, Airbnbs. Well, let's bring somebody in and have a conversation around how an operator can be connected to local rental markets in order to better serve your, in order to be more profitable. And we've had some actually great discussions on that recently, where people had some great tips. Pete had some great tips, and some fellow tourpreneurs did. So let's bring in people and just get our brains inspired every week. And then that stuff will all go into the vault. It will all be viewable later, so that we can just create a massive store of this actionable advice.
Yeah, yeah. So what else have we got? We've got book club. We've got the weekly streams. We've got the pulses.
Pulses, yeah. What's a pulse?
So these are a series of articles, maybe it might be videos, articles, bits of research, things that are happening in and around the industry or other industries that we feel will benefit the community. So it's highlighting, not giving you big documents of that you would never ever read through and just chart after chart after chart. These are going to be stuff that we read, we find, we look at, others look at, and then trying to make that into more digestible chunks and giving you them out to say, okay, this is what's happening in a particular part of the industry. And I think it could be a nice little way of just giving over bits of research and information in a more sort of easier way. We all hate reading reports. No one really likes it, to be honest. So
yeah, think of them kind of blog posts on steroids, maybe.
Yeah.
It's not going to be, just sort of a boring report of 98 pages, but it's going to be, I want to write one actually early on QR codes. I spent a lot of discussions just talking about actually how transformative creative uses of QR codes can be. And I want to do like a deep dive on how to connect QR to everything from, review generation and tip generation. I want to do one actually on creating no-code apps that can be really fantastic ways to engage your customer afterwards. So I don't know. Those are things that have been going through my head in terms of pulses. Pete, what's your brain been?
Yeah, I'm looking at pulses as quick and dirty, just highlighting something to see if it gets traction in the community. So, like you say, rather than a whole report, it will be one part of a report that is really relevant to your community. If it starts to get traction, then the people who are interested can then expand and go deeper. And then if it gets a lot of traction, that's sending the signals that we have a real learning issue for this in the community. Then we can start to build sprints around that. So pulses are a way for us as community leaders to judge the need of the education in the community by us we find this stuff out from all sorts of stuff because we just spend all our life online because we're weirdos. So if we can bring that in here and then we get a feedback out quick and dirty, a few minutes, and maybe 5 minutes max, and then if we get the feedback, that tells us, yeah, this is really interesting, or it's not, and it was just one of these things that came in here. So pulses are quick. I'm conscious here that we've got a lot on and we're taking up a lot of people's time, so I think we should maybe just crack on and say some of the things without going in depth because we've got a lot of time.
Let's get through this. Hot seats.
Yeah, they're happening next week in Berlin. We've already done some. We're going to be doing lots more, and then we'll start publishing them straight after Berlin.
Yeah, 3 of us, we attack your business.
Yeah. Basically,
in a good way. Retreats.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to these. If nothing else, just to go to different places and meet different people. But the retreats are small groups of people getting together where we all learn.
Huddle, not retreats.
Huddles,
yeah, they're going to be called huddles. I'm trying to ease people into the cult vocabulary.
Huddle. We're having small group huddles.
Yeah, so basically getting together over a weekend, long weekend, whatever that would be, in a nice area. And we're going to travel to these areas. So we're going to, whether that's in North America or places in Europe or further afield, we're going to come to you, and we're actually going to deliver these workshops and courses, really deep dive into your business, give you, by the end of it, a plan that you can then take away for your business and implement, so you can make your business better in whatever area that is that you're looking to make better and make improvements in, but ultimately with the goal of generating more profit at the end of the day. But we're going to, hopefully, this is the one of everything that we've came up with, this is the one I'm really looking forward to.
So I think that basically covers kind of the big food groups of the work that we're hoping to continue, not only what Shane started, but to go in some new directions. And what everything really comes down to is everything is going to be practical. Everything is going to be operator focused. We're not going to suddenly be, going into all sorts of different areas and no management speak. Everything has got to be just real, actionable, but in a lot of different ways: small groups, larger groups, weekends, in-person, drinking fun, courses that are short, articles, basically content that is led by your needs, but also our opinions. I mean, I think probably one of the differences, we'll end on this, is that Shane was a really great listener. We're good listeners, but we're also good talkers. We have a lot of opinions. We have a lot of experience. Pete and I have been operators for 20 years. I've been a guide. I've been a tour manager. Chris has been around the marketing block like you wouldn't believe. And so I guess we just also want to share that and be as valuable to you all by giving you our experience as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think we should. I'll probably just finish off with saying we've probably broke some marketing rules by doing this, because we've introduced so many things at the one time, which is what you shouldn't do in marketing. You should look at one thing and then one thing. So I just want to finish off with saying there is only one real drive and purpose with this community: is to make you guys and girls more profit. It's to educate tour operators to make more profit. It's as simple as that. So all of these things we are doing are being built around that. Does this make you more profit? If the answer to that is no, we won't be doing it, or we shouldn't be doing it, and you have to let us know, stop doing that, because it's not going to make me any more profit. Everything we do is built around making you guys more profit. And coming back to what I said earlier, that works if we get trust. We trust you to show up, actually contribute, and you trust us to herd all this together, create great content at it, and action at it so other people can learn. Like, we're all small businesses, we're all tiny in the real scheme of things. The only way this industry will go forward is if we start to trust each other a bit more, share a bit more, and build as a community, because the hard reality is the vast majority of our members are never going to be real big businesses. We're always going to be small, medium-sized businesses. But collectively, we can have a big impact.
Notice, by the way, we are not saying get more bookings. We are banishing that phrase from our lips, because it's not just that you have more bookings. I know so many operators, like Alex mentioned in the chat, burnout. People are burnt out from too many bookings and not enough profit. In other words, they're getting more bookings, but they're not set up on a pricing structure or in an organizational way within sort of your company to handle that. And so you're just chasing your tail and you're killing yourself. And at the end of the day, you don't actually have more money in the bank. And you don't need more bookings. What you need is maybe a better pricing model, or you need to have smarter, profit-centered goals for yourself that understand the total expenses of your business. There's so much that goes into a profitable business, and we really want to use that word. Great experiences, better profits, and not just, oh, I got 500 more bookings come in.
Yeah, it's actually a really good point you make there, Mitch. It's the same when we help people with marketing. I come across some of the operators who I help personally. It's they all want extra bookings. They think we need to get extra revenue and extra things to do to help pay for staff and everything else. But half the time you're actually speaking to them saying, "No, you need to take a step back. No, why are you not increasing your prices? Why are you not doing this? Why are you not doing that? If you do all these little things first, you're probably going to get to where you want to be without spending more money on ads or doing all these different things you need to do to get more bookings, and just drive yourself into the ground." So with these sort of huddles that we're going to be doing, it is very much going to be looking at your business and thinking, okay, what can you do to improve the business before you even think about doing all the other things that you think you need to be doing. So
great experiences come from great profit. It's as simple as that. If you want to consistently, sustainably build great experience, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you have to be making good profit to do that. Otherwise, the quality of your experiences will decrease because your cash flow doesn't work unless you're making great profit. So great experiences is what we want to do with the customers comes from great profit.
Yeah, great.
Okay, that's us. See you soon.
You know where to find us.
Yeah, more information will be released soon. But thank you.
Don't be a stranger. All right.